Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Jamal Raza, President-elect, Pakistan Pediatric Association, Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Professor Khurshid Abbasi, Co-Chair, Organizing Committee, Professor Jalal Akbar, Secretary of the Organizing Committee, Professor Habibullah Babar, President PPA, Dr. Khalid Shafi, Secretary General PPA, Dr. Wasim Jamalvi, distinguished members of the PPA, respected delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's indeed an honor for me to be here, and I convey my thanks to the Pakistan Pediatric Association for inviting me here today. I also congratulate the organizers for organizing this major international event, which I believe is being held in Sindh after 10 years. Pediatric Association has been organizing major scientific conferences to address various health issues in pediatric medicine, and I hope that during this conference you will come up with solutions and actions for current health situations, especially after COVID and after the devastating floods that we are currently facing. I see great people in front of me. Dr. Ghaffar Billo is here. And I'll just tell you, after your parents, the first person that you remember is your pediatrician. And I do remember my pediatrician also. I don't know, I'm sure, may her soul rest in peace. It was Dr. Mama, who used to have a clinic at the Bambino Chambers. And I still remember going to her because, at the pediatrician, we used to get a candy or a lollipop or something like that. So people are really, the children are really attached to the pediatricians, and you are doing a great job after the parents, and you actually guide the parents, make sure that the child gets the correct immunization on time, and contribute towards the health of the baby. I also see Asad Rabbani Sahab here. Together with them, the government of Sindh is working on, with the Child Life Foundation, we've got these emergency centers, and the objective was, when they came to us, this was 5 or 6 years ago, even longer than that, when they started with Civil Hospital and then the NICH, and they came to us and they said, the objective was to have an emergency center within 30 minutes of every child in the province. And now with the emergency centers that we have all over the province, along with the telemedicining that they do there, I'm proud to say that we've almost reached our target. And I don't remember the numbers now, Mr. Rabbani would have the numbers. The fertilities or the survival rate of newborns, of infants, has really gone up because of the intervention that we've been doing. Professor Jamal talked about the NICH. We've tried to improve the NICH, and we have had problems with the federal government, but with the grace of Almighty Allah, I hope that these problems are behind us now. The 3 hospitals that were given to us in 2011, which included the NICH along with the JPMC and the NICVD, the federal government has agreed to give them to us over, despite the Supreme Court judgment that we had, they've agreed to give them to us over a long period, lease them to us so that we maintain, operate them, and spend money on them. The provincial cabinet has already approved that. The Prime Minister has approved it. It has to just go to the federal cabinet, and we are hoping that it will soon be approved there. And then the tug of war that we've had for the last few years with the federal government would end after that. It's actually ended now. We want this will happen. I'll just briefly talk about the contribution of the medical practitioners, especially in the last few years. We had COVID. The medical professionals were our frontline workers, our frontline warriors, and I'm really grateful to them. I pray for all of them who actually are martyrs, who lost their lives in this fight against COVID, and with their help, and purely their help. And I'll tell you, what I used to do was, when this COVID hit us, because obviously I didn't know anything about it, but I just listened to whatever the doctors told me. And that's what the provincial government of Sindh did, that we just, and all the medical bodies cooperated with us, and they became a spokesperson to convince people to abide by the COVID SOPs that we had prescribed at that time. And with the grace of Almighty Allah, we are one of the least affected countries from COVID, and the world gives an example of how Pakistan countered this COVID crisis that we've had. And with the grace of Almighty Allah, we became successful. Most recently, another catastrophe hit us in the shape of floods, and I'm sure a lot of you must have gone to these places where the flood hit us. In the province of Sindh, we've got 24 districts affected. In the entire country, we've got about 33 million people affected by floods, and 70% of them are actually more than 70% are in the province of Sindh. We've had more than 800 deaths alone from flood, and after that because of the disease, which in such a situation does spread out. And there again, the numerous, several hundreds of medical camps that doctors put up. We had doctors not only from the province, from outside the province who came to help us. There were doctors, and just yesterday I had signed certificates for Indonesian doctors who would come in to help us for this, in this catastrophe, in this time of difficulty. And I do want to I wish to thank all of the doctors who've helped us, who've helped humanity, and that's what you're there for, to help humanity. And inshallah, we will overcome these floods also, the challenges there, but we're working hard on it. We've been able to, now not 100%, because again we had polio cases in the north of the country, but in the province of Sindh it's been more than 2 years since we've had a polio case, and all our polio environmental samples are negative for the last almost 2 years now. So that's a big success, because just a few years ago we were struggling with it. But again, this has only been possible because of our frontline workers, because of our health workers who've gone from house to house. In spite of the dangers, just day before yesterday, we had deaths due to deaths of polio workers. So it's because of them that we've been able to surmount this problem, and inshallah we will surmount this issue, this problem. Dr. Saab spoke about our immunization. Yes, we need to, and Dr. Saab, the legislation that you mentioned, I'll make sure that it goes through the Assembly. Unfortunately, because of these floods, the Provincial Assembly has not been meeting, and probably will meet either end of this month, in middle of next month, or in the end of November, and I'll make sure that this legislation goes through. Then apart from this other legislation, we talked about making immunization compulsory for ID cards or for issuance of passports. We'll take such measures so that we are able to protect our future generations. I'm once again grateful to the Pakistan Pediatric Association for inviting me here today. I wish all the delegates, and I'm sure that I'm here, there are about 3,000 delegates who are here from all over Pakistan and even from out of the country. I wish that all of you have a great conference, and you come up with solutions, you come up with suggestions for improving the healthcare, not only in this country but worldwide. And inshallah, as long as we've got these dedicated professionals working with us, I don't want to talk about the interventions that we've done in the health sector. I've spoken about it several times, but still we've just scratched the surface. Yes, we've done a lot of work in the tertiary healthcare, but there's a lot to be done in primary healthcare, and that is where we are struggling, and we need your help in order to make sure that the primary healthcare is available to all our residents in the province of Sindh. So once again, I thank you, Dr. Saab, for inviting me here. I thank the organizers for inviting me here today, and I wish all of you success in this conference. Thank you very much. Thanks,